Oh, g'day, film fans. I'm Dave.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm John, and welcome back to The Love of Cinema, a pod in which we'll challenge one another to discuss movies, both new and old, with a strictly positive critical eye.
That's right. And to keep us honest, we have turned this into a drinking game. I had nothing to do with this. I didn't suggest this at all. It's a drinking game. If anyone says anything negative about a film, because we're a positive podcast, they'll hear this sound, and that means we have to drink.
Drink!
So everybody pour yourselves a glass, and we're going to wade into the minefield that is, was it really that bad this week?
Oh, yeah.
And and Ryan, what did you suggest for was it really that bad this week? By the way, welcome back, Ryan.
Welcome back, Ryan. Yeah. You've heard him before on this pod. Yes. He is joining us again all the way from Japan. So excited to have you back. Yeah, what did you make us potentially drown ourselves in alcohol in this week?
I have to explain a little faux pas on my side. I thought
this is great.
That this film was so I thought that Superman 3 was actually Superman 4. See, in my mind, my memory, drunk Superman fighting drunk Superman was a different film to the Superman film that had Richard Pryor in it. So when Dave pointed out that no, that's actually Superman 3, I was like, oh shit, I don't think I've ever seen Superman 4. And so last night I sat down and added a film to my list of the films I should have seen by now, which was Superman 4, Quest for Peace.
Yes, I am in a very similar situation because this is kind of a double whammy for me as well. And we will get into it when we start discussing and everything. But I, too, had never seen this, as well as now completely understand, was it really that bad? So we'll be having a
It started already. All right, so basically to quickly explain the rules, we're going to make a random roll in a second. We don't know what's coming. Someone is going to be on the positive debate team of no, this is not bad at all. Someone's going to be on the negative team, as in, yes, this was really that bad. And one of us is going to be a moderator who sits in the middle and just buzzes the crap out of everyone. So is everybody ready to find out what their roles are?
I guess so. Jesus.
Oh, I'm hitting this. I'm nervous. I am nervous.
Juicy sound effect.
A juicy sound effect. That's great on a podcast. Ryan, you are moderator.
Okay.
Arm your fingers.
Well done.
My fingers.
John,
right, cool.
you're the negative team.
Oh, what a surprise. Oh my God, Dave,
I am on
are
the
you
positive
ready? Team.
I am now.
You want a second to get your notepad?
Just a second to get a shot down.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I feel like you should have to drink.
I didn't get away
beer
with that.
just preemptively. Yeah, exactly.
Thought I got away with that.
Well, I'll be drunk by the end of this.
Okay, so basically, to start it off, Superman 4 had a lot of production problems when it was first started. This is just a setup. I'm not in the rules yet. Warner Brothers funded this. Warner Brothers funded this film for $36 million, but the rights were bought by a production company who was kind of failing, and they only used $17 million and diverted the rest to try and fund other projects to save the company. So this thing went from a $36 million budget to a $17 million budget. 6 months worth of flying scenes were cut down to 30 days of shooting. It had everything stacked against it. So now we're going to discuss how it coped with that.
Holy shit, dude. Yeah, that's crazy context.
Also, weirdly, had Wes Craven attached to direct at one point.
I read that.
Yeah.
What?
Could you imagine the film you would have got?
Yeah. Well, anything would have been. Well, yeah. I'm not arguing. I'm moderating, so
you can say whatever you want. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Any other take on this would have been far more interesting. But yeah.
Right.
Like
interesting moderators and in from the buzzer.
Yeah. Okay. Shall we begin? Why don't we start? Dave, it was such a nice setup, and I feel like you're already in the positive mood for this film. So why don't we start you off with the positive point of view?
Well, I can tell you that one of the things that really stands out for me when you're watching this, it does introduce the John Cryer, Gene Hackman team up, because John Cryer is cast as the nephew in this film of Lex Luthor, and it's this wonderful character Lenny, who I think was repurposed from Lena, and because God forbid we have an evil female at that point in time in movies, but the team up between those two, I feel like it worked really, really well. And I just love the fact that John Cryer then went on to be Lex Luthor in the Supergirl series on the CW.
Yeah. It was a good tip.
Yes, it was.
I was pretty surprised when they showed up.
And also, only Superman film to have him change in a phone booth. They went there. They did it.
Wow, is that really true?
Yeah,
That's the only one?
It's the only one. Every other time, like, they make a joke out of it. He runs up to like a standing payphone and stuff, and there's nowhere for him to change, or he runs into a revolving door. Never steps into a phone booth until this film.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah. Well,
is that your entire argument, Dave?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think that's all you got, huh?
Dude, no, there's so much else. Like, you've got Christopher Reeve, Gene Hackman, John Cryer, Mark Pillow, like. It's
oh, that's good.
And I mean, as a guy,
low rent Dolph Lundgren.
it was his acting debut and his swan song in one film. So because he pretty much only ever did 2 episodes of TV after this, and that was it. He was like, I've peaked. I've done what I came here to do. I've done Superman 4. I am Nuclear Man. I'm going to be a cultural icon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look,
I'm really trying here. John,
this is great. I want to hear what else you've got. That was you're singing the praise of Mark Pillow right now. Like,
I have to buzz you, Dave.
Me too. Yeah.
Oh, this is not fair.
Oh my god, dude.
I mean, they did, from a storytelling standpoint as well, though. Like, they introduced so much you can talk about. Like, why is his cape flapping in the wind in space?
Mm-hmm. And from the very beginning,
so you leave the
love
theater with
they,
questions. It's like you've got something to talk about after the film, and they were so
apparently,
yeah.
Apparently, you can hear Superman talk in space too. At the very beginning of this movie, they want to just clear up some of the physics of space that have been misunderstood up until this moment. After he rescues a Russian astronaut who's been thrown into space by some debris, I think. He speaks to him in space, and the guy understood him. One of the many times that Superman speaks a foreign language in this movie, so that's kind of a positive note, I guess.
Yeah, they were trying to be cultural. You were positive.
Yes, I was positive. God damn it! All right, let's just start with this. Let's just start.
Okay,
let me come out. I already said it. I already said that I had never seen this one. I'm going to go out on a limb and. I've never seen any of these. So this is a weird perspective for me. You go ahead and get me. Yeah. Yeah. I grew up watching all these movies on television. Like, this was not the first time I had ever seen any of these movies, but I still have not sat down and watched all these. The first time I saw this one, I don't think I've even seen number 1 all the way through. So I kind of told myself, I know.
Wow.
Yep.
I kind of told myself, I was like, I had a really long week too. I was like, maybe I should watch all these things so I'll be ready. But then Dave and I kind of chatted and we were like, it might be more fun if you've never seen any of them and you just start with this one.
Yeah. I mean,
not dying to start the series over, you guys.
I must say though, like from here, they get even better.
I believe. Well, let's just go from. I looked up just a few key informational things about like the beginning of it and when it was the first one and stuff. This one is almost an entire hour shorter than the first one. The first one clocks in at like 2:23. So without credits, it's probably about 2:20. This one is a tight like 1:20. Like as soon as the opening credits, as soon as that's over, the narrative from beginning to end is about an hour and 20 minutes long. Is that the shortest?
There was a little bit more.
It was superhero movie of all time. I mean, it may very well be.
Possibly.
Is that the best thing about this movie?
No, he's allowed to say that. He's allowed to say that.
Okay, damn.
Yeah.
I don't know. It really depends on your paradigm. If you think this is the shortest superhero film, that 90 minutes felt very bloody long, and it took me about 2.5 hours to get through 1.5 hours.
I mean,
Honestly,
but they
you guys
set up so much interesting stuff in the first 5 minutes. Like he rescues the astronaut, so he's like save the cat. Like they're following the conventions. Great.
Sure.
So he flies down and he flies into his barn and pulls out a green glowing crystal. And I'm like, okay, that's kryptonite. It's not crystalline because you know what? Kryptonite. Because you know what? They threw the rules out the window for this. They're like,
okay,
you know
thank
what?
you.
It's a one-off super crystal. Let's make it exactly like kryptonite. We'll make everyone think. There's no mindless action in this movie. You're going to think about things in this film.
Yeah.
Well said, Dave. Fuck you. That was like same deal though. When I said, because again, I was like, I know we all know the rules, right? So me and my girlfriend in that park came up and we were like, what is that? I didn't know he was allowed to touch that. Or even just when he pulls the trap door in the barn back and there's this giant Kryptonian, like half of a crypto geo is just like buried in the ground. Even that, I was like, is he allowed to be close to that?
His mom's
so
a total gem.
There. All right. So let me get a little, let me try to be a little serious here though, about why I think the mechanics of this movie, despite what you said, which is a really good point. I'm not going to try to hate on this too much. If that really happened to their production, the budget, the shooting set, I mean, that is tough to recover from. Best editors in the world couldn't fix some things if you just don't have the coverage or the footage or if you, whatever. However, the one thing I kept coming back to where I was like, I feel like there were opportunities for the way that they would sequence the beats of his story, the emotional opportunities they passed by them. And I think the best example of this is that they give us that at the very beginning, right? He has this energy, I can't remember what he called it, energy crystal. And I guess he's hearing a memory of his mother in his head as a voiceover.
No, this shit talks to you.
I couldn't tell. Well, one, I couldn't tell if the shit was talking or if he was just recollecting.
It's a memory.
It's a talking glowing green geode. It happens all the time.
Because it comes back. So every time somebody touches that thing, you get to hear her voice.
That's why I don't dig in Central Park anymore.
Yeah, be careful. Everyone be careful. They set up this deal where it's like, this is the last energy crystal. Be careful. As soon as you use this thing up, you're totally alone. You're cut off. You don't have any other resource available to you from old Krypton. Good old Krypton. So when he is sick in the middle of this movie, which by the way is because he was scratched by Nuclear Man. When Gene Hackman said it perfectly too, he will pierce the skin and infect Superman with radiation. They really did it with long nails. He actually scratches his skin, which was, at least they were honest and literal about what they did.
I did love the little homage as well, because like when he turned up and like Nuclear Man's standing there with his backdrop and it's panning up and everything, and I really wanted Lex Luthor to turn around and go, "Oh, Rocky."
Oh, Rocky! Absolutely.
Oh my God!
Seriously, beat for beat, it's the Rocky Horror Show.
It really does. I know it does. Yeah, it's ridiculous. All right. So what I was saying though is that when he gets sick, this is like the crux of the plot. Like everything is built to this. This is his number one obstacle. You're always trying to get Superman with the same fucking thing. You're trying to use some kind of inherent weakness in him. Well, for this one, they broke some of the rules. I didn't know he was allergic to radiation. I thought he loved that shit. I thought he was powered by the sun. But in Superman 4, this shit kills him. So they scratch his neck. Yeah. All right.
I'm sorry.
I already drank. Yeah. Okay, so in Superman 4, this thing kills him. So he is holed up in his really nice little apartment in the city, and he's super sick. I don't know if the hair and makeup team tracked the cut from just being a little sick on the couch with the man flu to like when they cut outside and when they cut outside and they come back to him, he is like on death's door, dude. John, he is about ready to fall
buzz
apart.
John for being negative. He's allowed to be negative. He can't say anything positive.
Oh, damn it.
God. Okay. But hold on, this is the whole point. I'm sorry I'm taking so long to get there.
No,
he
go.
pulls out the fucking energy crystal. We've been waiting for this, right? We knew this was going to be a big deal. And I think inherently I can forgive all the bad things we said about coverage or the ridiculousness of Nuclear Man. I can I can forgive that. I can't forgive an opportunity to bring an audience closer to their protagonist, especially a superhero, especially Superman, who's kind of far away from us anyway. They didn't even show him use it. They didn't come in tight to have a moment where he was saying goodbye to his heritage and to his old home. It literally cuts away from it. And then next time you see him, he's in space just fighting like normal. He doesn't even allude to the fact that he just used that. They never talk about it again. He never has a private moment with it again. So there are too many things like that throughout the movie where I felt like you're not even giving me a chance to care about this new Superman with new rules.
We have $17 million. Use your fucking imagination.
I mean, come on. Yeah, I know. That's what frustrated me the most, though. Everything else was kind of just like silly. Like, I don't know. Look, again, say that stat one more time so we can know how many days were cut on the flying alone. Just the
in the flying sequences, they had 6 months and it was reduced to 30 days. So
woof.
Yeah.
Look, I understand that must have been really hard, but that whole sequence. Again, there's some Superman or superhero archetypal things that happen in this movie that they're trying to stay true to those. When the nemesis beats the foe,
actually,
and
it's really funny that you should bring that up, because this was the superhero victory tour, because almost everything that they showed were the cool bits from Superman the movie and Superman 2, like all those powers that he used. They went on a fucking victory lap and used them all again, all in one movie. So if you want to see the whole lot of 4 movies, you're done. This is it. Just watch Superman 4. You see every power that is used, and a couple that he had.
Positive about that's something positive. What do I buzz now, Dave? You're buzzing positive about Superman 4.
You're buzzing me for being negative.
Just drink.
Oh yeah. Fuck it anyway.
Can I ask what superpower is the rebuilding the wall superpower?
Thank you.
Okay,
I was just going to say,
under no circumstances will I discuss that. It will not be discussed. I will not debate non-union labor on restoration work.
Look, today we are recording this on America's observation of Independence Day, and I'm not even going to let you plead the fifth on that, motherfucker. You got to get in there. You got to say something about the fact that he looked at it. It was the same vision of his.
It was reverse Tetris vision.
It's the same heat rays, but they're blue.
Yes,
and it's the rebuild vision.
Yeah, because he was deburning them. He was recreating them out of like particleized stuff. Like that's canon. It's not really. I can't back that up at all. Like, I don't know why the fuck that happened.
Ryan, dig us a hole here. Put us in a tough position. How can we make this son of a bitch say something negative about this movie?
That one particular scene, they ran out of money, and he was supposed to rebuild it, but they couldn't afford the high speed effects to make him rebuild it. So they just went, we'll just ping, 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 and suddenly he has magical rebuilding vision.
So, Dave, can you give me a solid reason why Margot Kidder, Miss Lois Lane, can suddenly fly in this, and isn't, while she's floating along with Superman, being dragged by her arm? She's just beside him, naturally flying. I'm like, Lois is
okay. We've established the side flying. That's an aerodynamic thing. So
she has. What's he say after he goes? Did you enjoy going solo? Is that the line that he says to her?
Did you enjoy me dropping your ass? Yeah. No, she
didn't just fall out of the.
I know. That just
love kept her afloat? Love kept her afloat.
Oh, I mean, I want to buzz that.
Okay.
I just don't understand.
Okay, so really, that's the one you have a problem with? But Nuclear Man carrying the woman into space?
Well,
and
we were getting there.
Oh yeah, and
I'm going chronologically in the film.
Oh, okay, cool. Sorry, I skipped ahead.
No, when she's in space, when he's got the other woman in space, they make sure you can hear her breathing. The breathing sound effect is very audible, where she's kind of like gasping, and she's in space.
But my favorite part is when he drops her and she falls.
Yeah, she'll just stay there. In space, brilliant. Because we have established in the film that humans in space wear spacesuits, but later, screw it. But let's backtrack a little bit. Why did Nuclear Man even go for Lacey Warfield in the first place? It's like he saw her picture on a paper and went, I want woman.
There was actually about 40 minutes more of this film. Right. Because they originally made a first clone that failed. And that was close because Nuclear Man is basically Bizarro. They rewrote Bizarro for this, which is why he talks like he does. But yeah, the first clone, and when they remade the second one, like he actually saw like a photo of her. So he basically became Frankenstein chasing the beautiful woman. But all of that got cut.
That was not established.
It was established on the cutting room fucking floor. They took it out because greedy producers wanted a shorter film. Because they wanted a shorter film so that they could fit more screenings of it in the theater and make more money. Because that's what they thought was going to happen.
That is some old school black and white villain type stuff.
Yeah, some like Luthor shit.
Just tie Christopher Reeve to some fucking train tracks while you're at it. Well, yeah.
Brilliant. Brilliant. That's just for saying anything bad about Christopher Reeve.
Yeah. Oh, dude, he is Superman. Like, there's no doubt. Even in this movie where he's really only doing it so they'll fund his other film. And, you know, whatever, you get your film made and you do a Superman movie. Great. But, like, it was... he's still Superman. Like, when he flies up to the camera and peels away and he smiles, it's like, that's fucking Superman. Like, people have tried. No, we got angsty emo Superman and, you know, a few other things, but just Christopher Reeve all the way.
I can't help but sort of say, and weirdly positive, there were moments of CG in this that I kind of went, that was actually kind of brilliant. Like, there was a moment where Nuclear Man was on the moon, which was generally pretty...
Damn.
Like,
you're supposed to be immune. You're supposed to be immune, but that was so bad.
Well, like seeing the black curtains as the backdrop for the moon was really interesting.
Well, actually,
like,
that was
really
that was due to budget cuts because they couldn't afford a moon set, so they had to borrow Stanley Kubrick's one from the moon landing. No, I can't back that up.
Look what Dave did there. Yeah, I was coming for you too on that one.
Wow. Wow. But there were some like, Nuclear Man was like, and there was some like vapors around his arms. And I was like, I've seen films in the 90s that don't even get that right. So there were moments.
You're right. There is like the guy who was the visual effects coordinator on this went on to work on like Empire and things. So like he knew his shit.
Hang on. Empire the TV show? Or
no, Empire Strikes Back.
Right. For a second there.
Wow.
That's for not immediately knowing Empire.
Sorry.
There were just too many moments, you guys, where I was genuinely confused about what was happening in the movie. Like, I mean, these are superhero movies, right? Like if one thing needs to be super clear, it's like story and plot, and even within a sequence. I think my favorite moment where I was like, what is happening was we had recently seen Nuclear Man do his thing, and he's back at Luthor's penthouse in the Empire State Building, but whatever that version is in Metropolis. And it's right before, we've already made fun of it, when he turns into Frankenstein. So right before he sees a newspaper with the cover of, what's her name? What was that character's name?
Lacey Warfield.
Lacey, yeah. So it's just a picture of her, and the Daily Planet has a new publisher or whatever. When they cut to him, he's like floating in the air. And I was like, what's happening? I think he was just kind of existing there for no reason. Yeah, he was just kind of getting up and he just walks over.
Not what I meant.
There was that, but even in the fight. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Boo. There were, even in the fight, I don't know. Their initial fight sequencing was very confusing to me. I wasn't sure. Again, like emotionally, like what the fuck is happening? Of course, I understood that they were, showing off their powers. He's basically Superman. They're fighting all over the world and all the hot spots. I get that, but I didn't understand emotionally like what it achieved. And then every time they would just come back to each other, I didn't feel like the stakes were any higher at all. And I've bitched about Superman on this podcast before. I think that is an inherent problem with his movies because it's so hard to actually foil him. But it's like in this one, it's just an interesting take. If the three of us were sitting here making this movie and we realized right before, well before, during, oh fuck, we lost a lot of our money. Don't you think we would say, all right, what's more important? Making sure that little sequencing things aren't going to look too bad. So let's cut out the bad looking stuff. Sure, we would do that as well. But I'm sure, I have no doubt that we would say, all right, if we don't rely on the character work, if we don't make Superman have to go through something in this, then we're never going to compensate for our shitty special effects.
Straight away pivot into a Clark Kent road trip movie.
Oh,
yes. Yes. No, honestly, dude, there's something that is the antidote to having a super low budget and certain things you're not going to be able to do everything. And I'm not calling out this director specifically, but I think a lot of filmmakers would say that's possibly the greatest thing that can happen to you. It forces you to be more creative. It forces you to get back to the roots of how to tell a story. And they didn't do any of that.
Superman film.
I guess. I don't know.
I mean, the director, Sidney J. Furie, his next film was called Drive Me to Vegas and Mars. So the guy really doesn't get how fucking space works for a start.
Maybe that guy got fucked, but be real with me, guys.
He went on to do Iron Eagle, all of the Iron Eagle movies.
Yeah,
Iron Eagle 1 through 64. He did all of them.
That's so positive, Dave.
I don't know what Iron Eagle is.
Yeah, I don't either. I was kind of hoping for some.
No, that is I get buzz for your ignorance.
I was.
Did you just say Did you say our moderator was ignorant?
Yes, I did.
I'm buzzing you again. I'm trying.
There's a clog.
I want to ask you guys straight up though, because I haven't seen these other ones. Like, be real with me. How much worse is this than the other ones? Are one or two of these movies really good, and this is like incredibly bad compared to them, or are they all a little cheesy? But I don't know. I don't even want to project. You tell me. Like, is the first one excellent, and this one is just a whole other movie?
Both of the original Superman films are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So 1 and 2. That's what you're saying.
Yes, they were shot at the same time. There's a big hullabaloo about them as well because Richard Donner was who sadly passed away today.
No.
I know, right? That man was a big part of my formative years. Superman, The Goonies, The Omen,
Lethal Weapon.
The Omen. Yeah.
One of these things is not like the other. Like The Omen's in there. Omen, Goonies. I don't often let's do a podcast where we do that.
You think Gregory Peck tested for Superman?
But like he filmed it, and then he filmed about 75% of the second one as well, and then had a disagreement with the studio because Warner Brothers just apparently can't get this shit together back then, and
I mean, I agree.
And but so he was then fired and replaced by a different director, but they used certain amount of his footage, and there's a Donner cut of Superman 2 that does exist now.
I didn't realize that Donner cut wasn't something that was released like quite in close proximity to Superman 2. It wasn't until sort of the 90s that came back around.
Zack Snyder worked way faster than like Richard Donner did. But
he did.
Like he didn't have HBO Max to back him up though. But yeah, the Donner cut exists, and it's not too dissimilar. But apparently, to get the directing credit, Sidney reshot 75% of the movie. Mm-hmm. But a lot of the Lex Luthor stuff, I think, because some of the cast quit when Donner was fired for 1 and 2. But that's getting off topic. 1 and 2 are great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, bear in mind you're watching effects from the 70s and 80s. But they're great.
This is true. I feel like watching 4 will taint your experience watching 1 and 2. I think the bits that they sort of, that were kept through the series will kind of level out how good the first 2 are. The third is a corker, and the third was the film that I was actually intending
the third
you guys
fucked
to watch.
Me up for life. Like, there's one scene in there that should not be in that movie for kids. Like, it terrifies.
It's actually brilliant.
It fucked everyone up. Like, this woman gets sucked into a computer and turns into a robot while she's screaming, like it's plastering things to her face. And it's like you're sitting there watching a Superman movie and you're fucking horrified. This thing is terrifying. I don't know who thought out this imagery, but it's like watch it just for that.
There is a moment that Superman is sitting in a bar getting like plastered drunk, starts flicking bottle caps and breaking bottles at the bar, and then goes, screw this, and starts flying drunk, and then lands in a junkyard and splits into 2 people and has a drunk fight with himself.
Yeah. That's the other thing as well. In Superman 4, to bring it back, Nuclear Man was supposed to be Christopher Reeve.
Yeah,
but they could, again, when their budget was slashed, they couldn't afford the effects for them to fight. so they had to, go and get Mr. Pillow.
Yeah,
Just
I
step
definitely
in
thought
and
they
own
were.
it.
I try not to look up anything. I try not to look up anything about this one before I watched it. Even I told you I looked up a little bit about the beginning of the franchise. I just assumed Grieve was going to be Nuclear Man. I just assumed it. So that's good to know. I understand they were covering. Like, look, if these were some of our friends and they got their
Gene
movie
Hackman
made,
did the voice too, didn't he? It wasn't even that guy's voice.
Oh,
yeah, I assumed that was intentional. they talk about it, right?
Yeah, they mention it in the film. It's like, we're gonna own this.
Do you guys like Gene Hackman's Luther? Like, is that kind of renowned as the Luther that everybody enjoys? Because the dude on Smallville, which I didn't really watch, I know he had his thing. I know we're not Kevin Spacey, not talking about anything other than his performance. I liked him. I liked his
Luther. I liked his Luther. I love the character that guy played. I also like Gene Hackman in the first one is great. He is he's sinister and a little bit actor. He's comical. He's a little campy, but he's also sinister. That's one of the fun things about this franchise. Like that back then, it was campy as hell. So you had fun as well while you were watching it. And like the first one is like, it gets a little bit serious every now and then, but it's definitely, that is worth a look. Also, I just want to bring up as well, there's one big missed opportunity in this film. Like, basically when Nuclear Man turns into like the Wolverine prequel and grows his nails like 5 inches, he then picks up the Statue of Liberty and throws it into the city, and Superman flies down and catches the Statue of Liberty, and
by the finger.
Yeah, by the finger. Because that's structurally sound.
That's the statue that would hold.
That's the balance point. That's the balance point.
He's flying away, and Nuclear Man pulls up beside him like they're on the fucking Hudson Parkway, and they look at each other. And I was just waiting, like this, for the middle finger from Nuclear Man with this big fingernail. It's like, just flip him the bird, man. This is what's got to happen now. And I feel like there was a missed opportunity in this film. Yeah.
The amount of stock, hey, I'm flying here. Yeah, the amount of stock footage in this movie of shots of Nuclear Man just going, just like it was very like hulky, wasn't it? There were like a lot of like just be upset, just show us some upset stuff. All right, I also have something I want to clear up. Did Superman ever put the moon back? He pushes the moon out of orbit to block the sun so that he can get Nuclear Man into his sleep state in darkness. And I don't think he put it back.
On the bright side, that also fixes climate change.
No, I was going to say that was part of what they cut out of the film. That was the last half hour where Superman has fucked the world. Everything goes terrible.
Honestly, I think I need to see a fifth where like all the beaches are just covered in whales and dolphins. Like he just fucking everything in the sea is dead, just floating on top. The tides just fucked. Oh, come on. All right. Two fans. Let me ask another question. As two big fans of this genre. I think we're all big fans of what happened to superhero movies. I know these were super successful when they came out, but Batman was too, right? And that came out after this. So why do you think they've been a little resistant? Like they touched it with Man of Steel. Superman is now, in the Justice League universe and stuff. Like, I'm not saying they haven't really redone it, but not with the same level of commitment that Warner Brothers, the same studio, took on Nolan's Batman movies. I'm just kind of surprised. Do you think there's a reason? Like, are these movies heralded so that people kind of don't want to touch them? They don't want to try to have him stand alone anymore? Or do you think we're going to get one?
I think it was old.
I think, to be honest, I think Christopher Reeve set the bar so high with those first 2, maybe 3 movies, because I also like the third.
That's just me to you.
No, that's great. That's
vindictive buzzers. No, I love it. I think Reeves set the bar so high, like his Clark Kent character. There's a deleted scene from Superman 2 that's flying around where Lois suspects that he's Superman, and so she shoots him. And in that one particular scene, when the bullet hits, he goes from Clark Kent to Superman in an instant. And it's thoroughly believable. You're like, holy fuck, I could believe how someone could mistake this man for 2 different people. Like, he embodied both of those characters so well. I don't think anyone's really stepped forward that managed to do both of them. so
Julie, our
well.
train man.
Hang on. Hold on. Why is my buzzer not
Where's
working?
that fucking gush? Is that?
Oh,
No. I'm going to stop you there. Henry Cavill is like my Superman now. I think now that I've seen 3 and 4, I'm like, but I'm a huge supporter of Henry Cavill's Superman. I thought Man of Steel was awesome.
Me too.
Me too.
You know, I think if he didn't have the mustache gate,
well, he doesn't in Justice League, the new one.
Yeah.
The whole movie.
And we gushed about that for about 45 minutes.
It was supposed to be a quick 15-minute video. I went for 45 minutes. So
yeah.
I loved it, you guys. I know I didn't. Can I jump in there for a second? I know I didn't join you on that show, but I watched it that same week and I had a fucking blast. I had watched the 2.5 hour cut like a week before that, so I watched the next one again. I'm with you, dude. I keep going, but I like Cavill in this role.
Yeah,
me too. I would caveat that with like no one till now, like because. Yeah, Cavill really does nail. Like his Clark Kent is pretty good.
But if you remember, Brandon Roth was pretty heralded as well as the second coming of Christopher Reeve. A lot of people thought that he was the best part of that film.
That is actually his canon, the continuation from Superman 2.
Yeah.
So
to the point that people liked him so much in the role that they like lobbied for him to come back as the Kingdom Come version of Superman in. Legends of Tomorrow, was it?
It was during a crossover, and they did it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think the thing is that the first 2 Superman films, not 3 and 4, they kind of live in that era of the original trilogy of Star Wars, where people are like, this is the first time we've really seen a man fly on screen.
Yeah.
And they hold such a firm place in people's hearts.
First one, they just nailed it as well. Like it had everything that you wanted the Man of Steel to be. It wasn't just the character and the actor, it was the writing, it was the storyline.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Lex Luthor is literally just doing a property scheme, but he's doing that property scheme by shaking one half of America off into the fucking ocean. So, it's like,
yeah, because I'm not even just listening to you guys talk about it. I guess I would have always assumed is that while people say things like, look, it's the first time we saw some of those fun special effects. We got to really see it. If you were a fan of the TV show in the 50s, like this was probably a huge leap. However, I bet they nail the mythology. I have a feeling they're nailing just his initial origin development into the zeitgeist of superheroes, so that I bet that movie invited people who didn't really love superheroes into the movie theater. And that's probably why it was so successful. It was
kind of something for everyone. I mean, also, just to bring it back to Superman 4 quickly, as much as it had stacked against it, and some people do love this film. Like Ryan commented on this note, put your finger away. Ryan commented on this today on Facebook, and like people weighed in. They were like, I actually quite like that film. And like this is a poignant statement on humanity in the media that sums up the feeling of that generation that was sort of coming of age during the nuclear proliferation age. Like we were living under the threat of, is this the day some fucking maniac pushes the button? And you wanted someone to come and save you from that. And I feel like that's the heart of this story. That's what the intention was. They just had their ass cut out from under them, and like it wasn't given a fair go.
Yeah,
like it's there. The story's there, but like it just got chopped to bits.
I'll risk getting buzzed, and I'll push back. I don't think the story's there. The point is there. So when they wrap up
the point is there. Yeah.
But
you can see what they were trying to do, and it was swing and miss.
I'll drink anyway.
Drink anyway. Yeah.
The telling just doesn't justify it.
The telling point is that Christopher Reeve contributed heavily to the screenplay and story, but now doesn't. Well, not now, because bless his soul. But he didn't want to talk about the film because it was. I think he had such intention for it and hope for it, and then it just all went balls up.
Yeah, I mean, he like had a story idea, and he was like, "Okay, if I do this, you'll fund my other film." But yeah, in his biography, it was like the less said about Superman 4, the better.
Yeah.
Wow. Which is just, I mean, that is a real shame.
Yeah, it is a real shame because they went full camp, and they could have gone a different direction. They didn't.
Especially because I'm glad you brought that up, dude. Not to get too deep here, but like I guess I've always interpreted the rise of the superhero worlds as people who kind of grew out of a time in the world wars when people were looking for some kind of mythology to kind of gather around the idea that there are individuals that could actually save us from something that seems like a government, the media, something a massive institution couldn't. Mm-hmm. And this could have been and probably should have been like the apex version of that telling. Like, is there anything bigger than challenging nuclear war? Later in the week, we're going to be talking about Dr. Strangelove, and
it's nuke week
kind of
here on
the other side of the coin of of like this is what will happen when it goes wrong. So it is a shame. Of course, I was sitting there kind of picking fun at this. Like I said, my girlfriend and I we were laughing, but I think I was also very aware that I was disappointed that this was the subject matter that they fucked up. Because I do think they haven't touched this again yet, have they? I mean, there's always somebody trying to destroy the world in a lot of these superhero movies. But with Marvel, we've kind of gone into this alien kind of world. The reason I love the DC universe is because they usually deal with human villains.
Have you watched the Marvel TV stuff, like the Disney streaming stuff? Like, have you watched Falcon and Winter Soldier and
Loki? I know.
They're bringing it back. They're bringing it back.
But I still feel like DC owns that. Like, I feel like their biggest superheroes consistently fight human villains that are trying to use human institutions to turn it on its head.
Yeah, Zack Snyder's Justice League is arguing with you right now.
Yeah, as I'd say, Man of Steel. Well,
like the whole.
All right, well, is that the problem? Is that kind of one of the issues that maybe they're falling into? They're feeling influenced. Like, we've got to have fucking aliens come in here. It's not entertaining.
All right, before we carry on with this, Ryan, we need a decision. Who won this debate? Was it really that bad? Yes or no?
It was really that bad.
Fuck yeah, Dave. Yeah, Dave.
It's 2 for 2. I've lost.
Don't even fucking try. You did a really good job. I'm honestly, I'm shocked. Dave. I can't believe you made so many positive points.
No. What do you mean made so many positive points? I stopped at like you saying that they had the budget cut and they still had a film made. You said that in the first 20 seconds. That was it.
The most positive point I think we tapped onto was when we talked about other movies in this conversation. Actually, that was
exactly when we gushed over Christopher Reeve and the first two films.
Yeah, I do want to say I feel like this and to some extent Superman 3 have become, and everything from that point on, have become a little bit of a victim of marketing. Because Superman 3, it's like, oh, okay, we need another Superman story. What's cool right now? What are the kids into? Computers. And then it's like, oh, what's the big thing now? Nukes. And then it's like, what's the big thing now? Aliens coming and taking your things, and aliens being unwelcome. It's like now they're kind of like they're almost looking for buzz things to feed the plots of these movies. And it's like, if you go back to 1 and 2, it's pure fucking storytelling. Like these are stories that were made in like the 30s through to the 50s by guys who just want to tell a story.
What was the scheme in number 1 that you said? You kind of made a joke about it.
Number 1 is a property scheme. He bought up a whole heap of property right near the San Andreas Fault, and he was going to shake California off into the fucking ocean by generating earthquakes and become seafront property and triple his property values. Like that was his scheme.
It was enough, wasn't it? Yeah, it was enough.
In all fairness, Richard Pryor's scheme in number 3 was stealing fractions of a cent from everybody's bank accounts.
Which is also the plot of Office Space.
Office Space, right?
Yes. So there was some legs in there.
There's no fucking random robot chick in Office Space, is there?
I do want to hear Ryan. All right, our hats are off now. We've decided this movie is unfortunately really that bad. But you were moderating for us. Like, did you have any notes? Did you have any loose thoughts that you wanted to just talk about? Let's discuss, dude.
I wanted to touch on Jim Broadbent is in this.
Yeah.
And he says one line.
Right?
What the fuck?
I was like waiting for him to come back around, and he didn't. But I did see a SWAT car turn around and learn how to breakdance. What power that was.
Dude, the voiceover work, the ADR stuff, whenever anything was happening, especially John Cryer stuff, like whenever he's in the air twirling around and they're just like trying to rescue these like awkwardly filmed moments with some like, oh, what am I doing? This is awesome. Like, oh, the cops in the air and stuff, just hilarious.
Yeah,
hilarious.
What the fuck is with all the telekinesis abilities everyone suddenly has?
Yeah, but was it just me, or did John Cryer like learn his character midway through? Like, he had that funny first scene, but I didn't hear the voice or the accent until midway through the film, where he's like, "Oh, dude," he was doing the Californians. I was like, okay, but I don't know if it was just me. I watched this after I watched the latest episode of Rick and Morty. So every time they cut away to something like John, you said before, when he's suddenly zombie, stage of sickness, and he's holding the kryptonite that's not kryptonite in his hand, and then they cut away and they don't show what he does to make it heal. I was just thinking of a Rick and Morty joke where it's like, as the camera cuts away, he gobbles it down.
Yeah, so, I was thinking anal.
It was a suppository. Suppository.
Yeah.
The green ones are always suppositories, guys. If it was glowed red,
saw the shape
okay.
of that stone. You saw the shape of that stone.
Oh,
so I think
totally
the parallel Rick and Morty episode, tribute to this in my mind was better than the actual film I was watching.
Yes, when John Cryer walked on at the beginning, I was like, is that Pete Davidson's like uncle? Like I was like, he looked just fucking I'm like he could have played him like in the show. No? Oh, come on.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. John Cryer might have been naughty.
Look, I got mad at you guys when you desecrated Grease 2. Grease 2's, a glorious name, but there's no redeeming this film. Yeah. There's no redeeming this film.
It is a shame. And I'll just say that one more time just to echo it, just because I didn't need Grease 2 to be great. I didn't need, all these really, wasn't really that bad movies to do. Some, we have a lot of fun with them, but this was really important subject matter for
really
a superhero movie to be approaching. So it's kind of a shame.
I feel like it came from a place where he because like I said, there was 40 minutes of like extra footage in this originally, and they cut the hell out of it because they wanted a shorter film. So there was a little bit more story. Like look it up though. The first clone looks incredibly disturbing. But they end up sacking him and hiring, Mark Pillow. But it was
Mark Pillow. It's the best name in the business. Mark Pillow.
Oh, bless him. He didn't suck.
Oh God.
No, I mean, I guess Like, what is he? How do you even judge a performance from like the things they shot of him doing? Like there was. They didn't really give him a chance. There's
also an incident. I don't know if you noticed when Christopher Lee Reeve occasionally was like, he's flying away and he looked back, because they had their budget cut. They couldn't paint out the harnesses and everything properly. So at one point, Christopher Reeve has ginormous buns.
He's got that badonkadonk.
Yeah. And it was like, oh my God.
You guys, I have to pick on this for a second. Like, I think they had enough money to hire a better fight choreographer. Like that was some really awful fight choreography between two gods on the moon. Like the punches they never threw, the weird throws, the way they hit each other. It kind of made them look. It kind of made Christopher Reeve look like a weakling. I'm not talking about the scope of the movie.
Straight up, you've got to deal with the way
he moved.
You got to deal with his cape blowing in the moon wind and shit. So it's like it's hard to fight in the moon.
In the moon wind, yeah. Give me
in the moon wind.
He fixed that American flag though. God damn it!
Yes,
he was like.
Don't we all just want to pull it a little bit straight?
There was.
Oh my God!
It was all. In one shot, it was all ripped and torn on the ground, and then the next shot, he picks it up and it's perfectly.
It's like fucking perfect, and there's no wind in that flag. That.
I just wasn't sure if they were trying to go for a stylistically slow motion, like moon, landing type fight, because they'd already established that they can just move at like normal speed on the moon. So it just made
exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. How would you not have had that conversation?
Right?
Why would you not have?
There's a lot wrong. Like, I think we can sum this up by saying, if you ever have the inkling to watch Superman 4, Superman 1, 2, and Zack Snyder's Justice League are also available on HBO Max.
Yes, all of them.
And if you actually, it's really fun. I don't know about yours, but on HBO, when I went to like the Supermans, I searched for Superman, and Superman 1, Superman 2, Superman 3 all together. Then there's Man of Steel. Then down here, about 6 below, is about it's fucking Superman 4. It's like they wouldn't even put it next to it.
I know, it's not even next. I saw that same thing, dude.
And if you happen to have a nuclear bomb, don't watch this film because I'm certain that you'll send it up into the sky.
I feel obliged. Yeah.
Yeah.
All that being said, this might be my only positive thing that I'll say. It did make me intrigued. I think I might try to watch, 1, 2, and 3 just to give it a shot, even though this was so bad. Like
It was the closest thing we got
remotely
to
kind thing I said.
That's what I'm saying. Every time we do, was it really that bad? Everyone just fucks with the rules.
So true. Because it's just too. Come on, there's too much flexibility here.
Yeah. That's why it works.
Genuinely, though, I might give it a shot, you guys.
I would definitely
if that's what I get out of this.
I would definitely recommend.
If I had to go through this to get to 1 and 2,
because like one is great as an introduction, and 2 does the Zod storyline.
Yeah.
So.
Oh wow! I didn't realize that's the first time you see Zod. Okay.
And it's quite good.
And Terrence Stamp is as an Aussie, he's amazing. Yeah.
I mean, he's great and everything, dude. All right, there you go. That's my ignorance. I did not know Shannon was recreating Terrence Stamp's Zod.
Mm-hmm.
See all the things I'm learning, you guys?
Yeah.
Yep. Anal
John, I can't wait.
suppositories.
Suppositories.
and Terrence Stamp. Oh, shit.
Wow,
all right.
That's all we can take.
I feel like this is as much as we can go through. We got to wrap this up. We've gone way over time. So,
well, that was super fun.
Yes, it was super fun. Ryan, thank you for joining us.
Thanks
man. Guys. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, dude.
And,
so anybody been watching? That's usually how we just wrap it up.
I call this our honorable mentions for the week. Anyone watched anything this week that they really liked?
Ryan,
I watched. Yeah. I watched A Quiet Place Part 2, which is a perfect. I would say it's a perfect sequel.
Nice,
you've lost the freshness of the gimmick, but the continuation of the story and all the tips of the character development, I really loved it.
And part 3 was announced the day after 2 came out, so.
And it has to happen.
Different director though.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Okay, well, because that was part of the love for it. I think John Krasinski has.
They asked Krasinski what the story should be, and then this guy's taking it, and with his blessing. Because Krasinski didn't even want to direct 2. Well, we covered that. Have you heard the episode where we talked about that? Because I have the best story for that. I'll talk to you later.
Sure. Yeah, I absolutely.
Totally. Yeah, he totally heard.
He totally heard that episode.
Yeah, we enjoyed
it. Going back to work, we respect that.
Just as a very quick change of subjects from not listening to the episode, the Tomorrow War on Amazon Prime.
Yes, I watched this as well.
Yeah.
Did you get the feeling that could have been 2 movies?
Absolutely. Yeah, I was surprised. I thought it was wrapped up in a tight little bow, and I was like, okay, sequel could be interesting. And then we get this 30 minutes. Yeah. And which they had me all the way through. A couple of very convenient decisions made, but there was one moment, and we can talk about it off camera, Dave, of CG that I went, you killed me. But anyway, yeah.
Visual effect just getting in the way. No, I feel you.
Yeah, it was a moment. They really went
as Superman 4 proved. Sometimes you just run out of money.
This is true.
John, what did you say?
Tomorrow War.
I'm late to the party on this one, but if anybody was following Britney Spears' little controversy, in the news, so I did finally sit down and watch Framing Britney Spears, which it's just a real shame. I'd heard a lot about that already, but I just to get the context and it's a well-made documentary and about the New York Times, and I was affected for sure. Thought it was interesting, and I think it talks on a lot of issues that maybe we don't talk about very often. There's just so much taboo around people like her, the child stardom thing, and what we do to celebrity and pop culture. I don't know, it made me think about all that stuff. So if you haven't seen it yet and you're kind of living under a rock and you're curious what's happening with her, she got fucking denied. They denied her again. So this might watch the documentary and get pissed off about it.
Yeah.
Okay,
go Ryan.
No, I heard some Republicans actually reached out to her to support her or something.
Wow.
Yeah, that can happen.
So let her speak in front of Congress. So that could be interesting. John, I have to ask, after that documentary, how do you feel about Justin Timberlake now?
Right. I mean, I think, and who was it? Was it Barbara Walters, or the woman who interviewed her on something like, I think everybody, I mean, I don't think I know enough about Justin Timberlake, the way people see him. Like, I'm not a huge fan of him. So I guess I wasn't shocked that somebody who probably had a team around him that was like, let's use this as an opportunity. So I'm not taking any of the blame that he probably deserves away from him. But I remember even when I was young and that was happening in real time and everybody thought it was just such good drama. I remember even at that age being like, these are fucking human beings. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
So not taking anything away from Justin, but I think that documentary made me more mad at us than it did at them or that woman.
Sure.
Like, the way we enable this bullshit is just ridiculous. She was fucking like 16 years old and we were talking about her like she was this super slut, or something fucking gross. Like, what the fuck is wrong with people? These people they have lives. I don't know. So that was the main thing I took away from it was,
I think at the time I was like, she's single. It's possible.
Yeah. We made like those kinds of comments, right? Like, oh yeah, I mean, we can get in there, but I don't know. Definitely made me think about stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. On one side note, I went to an actual film festival this week in New York City. Queen's World Film Festival. I dropped in for a documentary series.
Awesome, man.
And I saw a film by a couple of my friends over in Astoria called The Last Call. And it's basically a documentary over what happens when an entire industry gets shut down overnight, which is what happened to the bar industry here. And it follows like 3 or 4 people. It goes for about an hour. If you happen to see it pop up on your socials, give it a look. Bring tissues. It's a hard watch.
Wow.
But yeah, it's a very good film. Then I went to the after party and that was great. It was like I hung out with Queen's World Festival guys.
Shout out to
festivals are back, everyone. Festivals are back.
And shout out to Queen's World specifically. They're the first festival I ever got one of our films into.
I caught up with our projectionist. Remember our projectionist friend we talked to for like 3 hours? Yeah, I caught up with him again at the closing party.
Nice, dude.
So yeah.
Oh yeah, good.
Brilliant. I'm jealous.
Well, this was awesome. Ryan, thank you so much, dude. Obviously, you are no stranger to the show. I'm sure we'll have you back on at some point soon. We're doing all these fun new segments. I know you submitted some things for both. Some more wasn't really that bad and should have seen it by now.
Just watch Paddington 2 for crying out loud.
It's coming. As soon as they release it on fucking streaming in this country, it's coming.
No. Honestly, though, we need to have a special episode where you're the only one who's seen it, and all 3 of us have never seen it. Because I've never seen the first or the second. Or we should. By
the time we get around to it, 3 will be out.
I have now seen number 1 as well, and I can attest that it's very good as well. So
let's genius when you see it. I appreciate it. Yeah. All right, man. Well, we will definitely have you on again soon. Stay tuned, everybody. We will be back in Thursday, as usual, with the next episode. It's going to be on Dr. Strangelove by Stanley Kubrick. So really looking forward to it.
Who? some dude. Stanley.